This week on Ickonic's weekly uncensored news show, Right Now I speak to researcher and author Kyle Kemper. He has something of a famous sibling. His half-brother is Justin Trudeau, but unlike his brother, he's on the right side of history. If you want to watch all the interviews in this week's episode, subscribe at ickonic.com or click the link in this video. It must be really strange for your mum in this position, because you and Justin obviously coming from completely different sides of it. What is the family dynamic like, and what would you say to Justin if I suddenly kind of revealed he was sat next to me? What would you say to him? Because he's your brother after all.
He is my brother after all, and I say, ho'oponopono. I'm sorry if what I've done has hurt you, or you take it personally, or it affects you or your ability to do your job. Forgive me, because I'm just doing, what I feel is right. I have children just like you have children, and I want to make sure the world is a beautiful place for our children, and not, some vision that was expressed by, Orwell and Huxley and before our grandparents were children. And know that I'm really grateful to you, Justin. I'm thankful on so many levels. I'm thankful to you for even pushing it this far, because you're pushing more people to become awake and to start innovating and creating. I wouldn't have written this book if it wasn't for you tirelessly pushing. You wouldn't have brought together the people of Canada in this great unification if it wasn't for, your pushing.
Has the Freedom Convoy woken people up, do you think? A lot of people that maybe weren't on the side of the truckers for the first, few days have seen the reaction from the government and thought, well, this is too much.
Well, I think more and more people are just waking up all the time, right? And I think this was another one of these moments that showcased a real divide between matrix reality and true reality of what's going on. I think the country is still really divided, and there's a lot of kind of healing, but there's a lot of frustration out there. But definitely, this great Canadian Freedom Convoy brought together Canadians like never before. Hundreds of thousands of Canadians coming to Ottawa, a 17-day freedom festival that the reality of it is it was like Burning Man in the streets of Ottawa. I support the people, I support freedom, I support liberty, and it seems like Justin is, reading a script, and a lot of people are channeling all their energy at Justin, and I'm trying to I don't think that's totally fair either, because he's part of the problem. He's not the entire problem, as I'm sure you would agree, right?
Yeah, because I was going to ask in terms of the young global leaders and all that stuff within the Canadian Parliament. It's kind of, there's a lot of members of Parliament that are linked to the World Economic Forum. In terms of Justin, like you were saying, the last couple of years he's maybe changed a bit. Do you think that's got something to do with it? The fact that this whole young global leaders thing kind of gets its teeth into people and steers them on a different path?
Yeah, well, I think in the last couple of years, we've seen I don't know what you want to call them, the agents, activated hard on this path, but he's definitely been on this, young global leaders, global, I am we kind of attitude, part of the We charity. I mean, it goes back a long time in terms of just his, the circles that he was rolling in, and I guess kind of the quest for approval, and also just kind of doing your job. So I think he was, from his position, just kind of doing his job and really believing in it, because you're a product of your environment oftentimes, and him and I have not been hanging out and talking policy or geopolitics or technology or transformation, and he's been in this Westminster broken system for a long time, and I just feel like we're using Morse code in the age of the internet with this government, and it's terrible. The messages, it doesn't represent the people whatsoever. So